All right, we back, and we just saw 3,000 years of longing.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I personally loved it. I loved it. It was just engaging. I feel like it was the story inside a story inside a story, and you're trying to figure out the puzzle of what they're trying to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Like, first of all, that's her job. Like, what was her job exactly?
I could not even tell.
She's like, she
I thought she was a
studies the
writer,
science
but she was
behind
like a science,
storytelling and whatever. She's not a sociologist, but she's something in that realm. And it's inside of a mind. It's like a coin has two sides. Does it make sense? And you don't know, like, there's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I feel like the main theme was about. It's like there is no right or wrong story. Is it science or is it in her head? We don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't tell. I liked that. That was the adventure of it.
That was the whole thing.
Crazy?
No,
or
that's the whole thing. It's like, I think
yeah.
they are trying to take us in the mind of
like a storyteller, yeah. Because
like,
I felt crazy. I feel crazy like that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I be coming up with characters.
I mean,
and stuff.
they
I understood.
showed some very, very strong visuals where she shakes her leg and the other girl was shaking. So there was like a pattern even in the girls or the women that the gene was popping in the picture or in their life.
Right,
especially,
right.
I feel like even the guy who killed the whole. The prince, he was a prince, right?
Went crazy and killed his the dad and
they all had some kind of tics and I just feel like it didn't focus on that, and that's the beauty of it. Like, it didn't focus. It wasn't like a story. Yeah, it wasn't a story about like about mental issues or like, they don't want to categorize it as that. They were just telling a story.
Yeah.
And I feel everybody can relate to that, and that what makes it really, really beautiful. What do you think about it?
I thought the story within a story within a story thing, that was very nice. That was probably my favorite part. I'm following the story of her finding the lamp and her story with the genie, but I'm also like really invested in his stories that he's telling about his past.
Because
and how
that's
it relates
her.
To,
he's part of her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why she talks about that imaginary friend in the childhood. She needed that friend at that point.
That's how I think like maybe Idris Elba was that in this new point in her life.
Yeah.
She needed a new friend.
And when he told her, like, but this is real, right? Like, it's not.
But that's what all the illusions would say.
Yeah, again, like, they are touching on really, really sensitive subjects in a very empathetic way.
For sure.
Does it make sense?
And they danced in like that realm of maybe it is reality, because the people were reacting, but you couldn't tell, like, are they looking at her like she's crazy, or do they really see this guy?
Yeah, when he pops in the picture,
or maybe even like when he kicked the ball back at the guys and stuff, and it's like, you don't know, is it really happening? So I like that they stayed in that zone, and it was about the story.
He is real. But that's the point. Like, those imaginary people in our head, or in anybody else's head, they're real. They do exist in some realm or form or energy in our body or outside our body. I feel like that's the thing that they're trying to hit. Like, they are real. It depends how you define reality and what's real and what's not. But I feel like, it's an amazing fucking movie. Like, I loved it. I loved the score right from the beginning. Like, it's when the credit rolls on. Not even credits, like when the production company name pops in on the fucking thing, you hear that sound of kind of almost deafening silence, but it's not silence. It's like it's an echo of silence.
No, it was like deafening silence, because I was trying to chew the popcorn. I was like,
but there was a sound. It's
here.
Like very muffled. You know what I'm saying? Like very, very muffled shush sound. Like you're trying to keep it contained in a way. You know what I'm saying? and that's kind of I love intros. Like I usually like, even in the Batman, I don't know if you remember, but the thing was upside down, the symbol or the logo of their company. I was like, wow, like that's the first thing that, you know, like hits me is the intro. Like, how are they introducing this movie? And it was amazing. Then the score came in and it was just amazing again. There was a really from a, you know, a filmmaker standpoint, there was a cut that was super weird at the beginning of the movie when she got the bottle from Istanbul, from Turkey, when she was in Turkey, she got the bottle. We were like really zoomed in on the bottle, and then cut to her in the store. Remember, that was a very weird cut for me. It took me out of the story for a second, and I was like, I could usually use that and put it like, how could I do this better? You know, like, because like editing and even cinematography is like about problem solving, you know, like how are you going to make this very flowy? And I think at that point I was out. But again, it was at the really beginning of the movie, so it didn't really matter. But that's how I felt. But the movie's amazing. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And there was not much even like, it's only two main characters. It reminded me of... Have you read Ishmael ever?
I haven't read Ishmael.
Okay, it's an amazing book. It's about a conversation between a gorilla in a lab and a guy who's trying to find meaning in the world or something like that. And the whole book is about this conversation. And for a second, it felt like that. For a second. Like it was just like him and her, and they're having this conversation, and that's the feeling, like that's what they're, you know, we're all in her head,
right?
I feel, you know, like
we're all in her head,
and they just put it in a very, very beautiful way, like the way that the story is told, the stories, all the stories inside the story, and the dialogue is amazing.
The dialogue was hitting nonstop. Honestly, I never dropped they never dropped a beat on the dialogue.
No, and like every now and then they'll drop something where it's like, it could have been cheeky and cheesy, you know, but it just sounded so beautiful because everything was just so well put together. Like when he told her about Sheba, and she was like, how did she look like? And whatever he was saying, he didn't describe the way she looked. And then she was like, I heard she was beautiful. And he was like, she was beauty itself. And that did just like, it was just that small lines that they said, that was just like, and them talking about isolation and her being isolated her whole life. I felt like that was a COVID, you know?
Just kind of, when she put the mask on for that second, I was like, oh, they're trying to talk about some real themes.
Everybody can relate, you know, I think. Like, especially after the pandemic, everybody been through that process of isolation and no physical intimacy. And all she wanted the whole time was just to be loved. You know, like, that was her only wish. She saved him the second time, and the third time she let him go. She set him free. Those were her wishes. She was just as simple as that. And I liked when she was talking about like how she told him at the end, like, I should have not made that wish, the first wish that you know, like, it takes the whole point of loving
them choosing
me,
you,
you know?
yeah.
And that's why when he comes back, it's just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was a real thing. Like, that's what it kind of is beautiful too. Like, it's like, yes, it was real, like the feeling of it, and it's okay to have a tea with your demons sometimes. You don't have to fight them. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, like, try to make peace and let them go and set them free. And maybe they'll come back and pay you a visit at some point. But I feel like it's okay. They're not your enemies. Like, I feel like it's just labeling issue, you know, with demons that are inside our head usually. Like, oh no, I don't want to hear that voice. No, that voice is there too, because it's protecting you. It's a survival mechanism, like whatever voice that is. Either because you are isolated and you need company, either because your ego is talking, one of your shadows. Does it make sense? And I feel it was just pretty. It was just beautiful, very well done, very poetic in a way. I didn't care that it was very fantasy like. Does it make sense? Like the genes and the
that was one of those best parts of it. They could just kind of explore whatever they wanted to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And visually, it's like visually they leaned into it, but it was more like the themes of that than it was actually them trying to like make things super fantastical. It was just like they'd have good costume design and good, like, you know what I mean, environments, but it wasn't so much of like the magic and the whoosh and the wash. It was really story.
It's just a story.
It was
Yeah,
really
that's what
story
makes
and
it
emotion
really.
and like,
oh my God, it was emotional. Very beautiful.
Simple things. Like the dude's like the
And
little
the
fat
camera.
son who really loved the fat son who was stuck inside the prison, the sex prison or whatever.
Oh my God.
Like like that was just good storytelling.
Some things
wasn't even
like
nothing.
I saw them coming. Like the
the girl who fell on
I told
the
you
slab
because
or
he
whatever.
said that already. Like he gave that up already. And I was like, oh, she's gonna fall on that shit. She's gonna like.
She took that like a champ. She broke the whole like stone slab with her butt and still just got up.
Yeah,
She just got
bad
up.
luck for him because she sent him in the deep oceans for thousands of years, and he was just he's and when she asks him to love him, that's like the whole point. Let's bring our solitude together. Like I feel like that's how we connect. Like we were talking about Phantom Thread and how it's like that's the only way you really are gonna fall in love, when you're that vulnerable, when you're that open. And it's like I feel when you like putting yourself in a fucking what do you call it in the prison when they put you in the hole or something like that, like the isolation or the solitary confinement. It's the same thing. You're there, you're alone. Your mind is we have that will to survive, whether we want it. Every cell in our body is programmed that way. So the mind and the self is gonna do what it needs to do to survive. It was really, 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 I needed to see that.
Yeah, legit.
I needed to see that.
And I like some of the things they did with like scale too, how like Idris Elba was like a giant kind of, but he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like they would kind of play around with where he landed in there, and like I don't know, it was fun.
It was, and it didn't throw me off. Like usually that's why I don't like fantasy or like alien shit or like whatever, because it kind of like throws me out of whatever, because I personally don't believe in those shit. But again, it's like, who am I to like believe in what? You know what I'm saying? Like what is real and what is not real? They're all kind of energies, and I feel that this is a big reminder. Like this movie is a big reminder that we don't know shit. Like we don't know shit. And we just gotta be more empathetic with everything, like we just gotta understand why things kind of go in a way that they go, to a certain extent, because we don't know the whole,
right?
Like, we don't know
you
the
never
whole
will.
thing.
There's always more to know.
Yeah.
But you can just be more educated about a topic, I guess. But you'll never know the truth.
No, there is no one answer. There is no.
It felt like she was trying to investigate that herself. You know what I mean? Like, what was the truth of all of it?
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
But she couldn't really even do it for herself. You know what I mean? Like,
no. I remember at the beginning of the movie, and the other friend was telling her, like, you're acting like a kid, like a child. And she was like, I am a child. It's like she means I'm very curious, and she was like that. Like she had that attitude when the genie came out of the bottle, or the jinn, or whatever they called it. And even when the devil or whoever in the auditorium was there, she wasn't afraid. She wanted to have that conversation with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, that part was weird. I didn't even understand that.
She was very curious. Like because that's what she studies, and she was.
It seemed like that was her madness. Like she actually did have, because of that scene. That's why I felt like maybe she does have something going on in her head.
Yeah.
Because that was wild.
But right after that, she was like, "Yes, I am a child." They're trying to paint the bigger picture.
I don't remember what he was saying. That dude was yelling something at her, and he just then the camera just zooms into his mouth. I was like, "Oh
she
crap!"
She trashed him. Like she said, it's just metaphors, and
that was wild.
And like they're not real.
But she didn't believe that. It felt like she was just talking
because
she was like in opposition to her true self.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like what she actually chose to do for a living was in opposition to the true true storyteller that she had, and she was
Absolutely.
like running from that, like
Absolutely.
in some weird way.
Absolutely. Like part of her, yes, I am for
Because she
science.
was writing the story. That's what she was
Yeah.
actually doing.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, but you know.
Let me tell you another story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it was weird.
Let me tell you what.
It felt a
I
little
think
bit
happened.
meta. Yeah,
You
it
know,
felt meta,
like-
but that was cool. I thought, yeah. There was like a lot of meaning in the movie.
A lot. And I think they did a great job with such a big, huge concept.
Yeah.
Not
for
just
sure,
one concept.
For sure. Everything
Multiple
was weaved
concepts.
together well.
Yeah.
Especially like, I don't know, I like the idea of the djinn because one, yeah, you don't know, that could have just been her own personal experience,
It's
or she could have been having some
mythology.
some whole magical experience, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it was cool, and his stories made sense for us to get all those stories of his life throughout time told to her, and that was a cool way to, I just feel like, tie like what? We got like 5 stories in that movie.
Yeah,
like 5
yeah.
solid different stories in
Like
that movie.
you
and that was
reminded
like
me too of
5 movies in one or
the
something.
question that she asked when she saw that devil and she was about to give the lecture, and she was like, but the question remains is what they want. Like seriously, why are those creatures are there? You know, like even if it's in her head, like
The
why
stories
are
want
there?
to be told.
You know, yeah.
The worlds want to be birthed.
You need to explore. You know, like you cannot just shut it and put it back in the bottle and throw in it will always be there. It's a longing feeling to kind of be loved and understood and
For sure, there
you
was.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we didn't even touch on that shit. Like, it really was like her, and that was another thing about like it being in her head because, yeah, she was just dying to connect with somebody.
Yes.
She was dying to
Okay.
connect with somebody.
He asked her if she wants to return to her ex. Remember? She was like, and then she said no, and then she started talking about like how freeing that was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to let something go or whatever. But
and then she
lying.
didn't want it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She
she
just
was
didn't
lying
feel
to
that
her,
connection probably with that person,
or no, they told that backstory. It was because it seemed like it was a miscarriage, and then
yeah,
it was done.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean that's all it was. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
like,
legit.
all it was. And of course,
if
she's
they weren't
not
able
gonna.
to, but I know that psychologically they'd be fucking with people.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
for sure.
that was cool. I like how they even did that scene where it was like light and they didn't dive too deep into it, but they painted the picture by going through the pictures and then
I'm
doing the
telling you,
X-ray
yeah,
and then just
they
done. End of the
did-
book. That was like, whoa.
Yeah,
That was very poetic.
They did. Like they gave a lot away visually.
Visual, yeah. It was
Plus
great
the
visual
dialogue,
storytelling.
that was a lot of subtext.
Yeah,
where it's
lots.
like,
That was.
you
just
gotta understand
flowed.
what they're saying.
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
flowing
like,
beautifully.
and you gotta really observe what's happening and feel the feeling, and it was just amazing. It was just amazing.
So was the Jin sleeping with everybody? I think
he was making love.
Yeah, I think he was definitely doing. I'm like, because these guys were like, I just want to hang out with my Jin every single day, and I don't want to go do anything
And
else.
if you fuck with a Jin,
Yeah.
what did he say? If you fuck with a Jin, when that girl was fucking the older guy, her husband,
Oh yeah.
and then he talked about that, like she rebelled against him. She was like on top instead of like being, you know.
Yeah,
he's-
she was because
he
she
got-
had learned too much.
Yeah,
she
and
was like,
then
I
he
couldn't
got
do
hooked
this. Yep.
on her. Yeah.
What did he say? The something arts, the like.
Yeah, the
Like,
Jin.
the pleasure arts. It was
Yeah,
something he said.
pleasure, yeah, art of.
You see her eyes like shoot, and it was like, please,
Then
please.
then she's like, you know what? Love me, fuck me. Let me try what they tried.
Nah, that was fire.
Yeah, it was fire. It was fire. I loved it. I would go see it, watch it again.
Yeah, actually, that was.
You know,
I feel like I could take more out of it the second
out
time.
of it, yeah.
But it was still straightforward. But I don't know. And I like when he was like, he fell asleep. You know, it's like Jin don't sleep. But our world, there was so many different things it was talking about, like just all the waves in the air and how that was throwing him off. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he couldn't even stay in the city because of
Yeah.
all the like electromagnetic interference.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I don't even know why they did that. Like, I just started thinking about that right now.
You know what I mean? Because like the waves are always going off in our
Yeah,
world.
but why did they make it? Yeah, I mean, she gotta
He
set
was
him
the
free.
transmitter.
That was her third wish. She let him go. She really loved him.
And you know, maybe that was
she
her
wanted him
dealing.
to love her.
But
She
maybe
didn't
that was
want
her
him
dealing
to
with
be
her
there
own
because
demons, though,
of a
like
wish.
of herself. You know, she was dealing with her own shit, and by her letting that go, it was like I'm
Yeah.
also letting go of my sickness. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I do know it will come back to visit me sometimes.
For sure, 100%, 100. Amazing. I don't know. I love it. And it was just so story-like. You know, I like stories. Like I don't mind mythology. I love mythology.
And this was like all, man. It felt like it really went through all time too. You know what I mean? It was like we started way back and it felt like some Egyptian stuff, and then we were like learned like
it's in our genes,
like Syria or something. Like that was fun. That was
like
a fun
we
trip.
all carry that.
That was a
all
fun trip.
Carry a very deep feeling of longing to something. You know, we all want to go home. We don't know where it is. I feel, you know.
Oh, that was deep. And I like the first one, how she just got cocky and then died. Her story was she got cocky and died.
Which one was that?
The one who got pregnant. They're like, I want the king. I want to get pregnant. I want all that.
She's an idiot.
Just straight to it. She wanted all the things right off the top and just died.
He's gonna save me. He's dead.
And then all the times when they were talking about like, yeah, these wishes are bad, these wishes are evil, but she's like, she looked like she almost got her happy ending, but did she? You know what I mean? Because the whole time they were framing it like there's always a curse that comes with these wishes.
Every wishful story has it's a cautionary tale. That's what she keeps saying, and it's like it's like almost she is afraid of wishing. Like, like she doesn't want to get what she wants. Because she knows it's unattainable, like it's not something that you can contain. I feel like that's another theme there. Like love is free, you know. Like you cannot love somebody and keep them.
Yeah, you'll say put them in a box somehow.
Yeah, you know.
Or trap them in a bottle.
Yeah, cannot. Yeah, exactly. Or anything.
Cause she sure did that when she came to like no X-rays, no.
She went crazy. They thought she was crazy. She's
I was
empty.
like,
It's empty. Nothing is there. Nothing. She's just crazy.
But she thought he was in there, yeah?
Yeah, he was in there. I mean, that's
he?
how she carried him back from Istanbul to she put it back on the thing and she went upstairs and she's like, on your own time. And then when she set him free, the bottle disappeared or fucking cracked. Remember? Yeah, that was his bottle. New bottle. Because he broke the old bottle.
And that was cool how he got trapped in his first bottle. I like that story, how it was just like, you was just creeping. And he was like, nah, brother, you're going into this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what you get. You fucking was creeping.
Great magician. And come on, let's talk about the cinematography. Did you see how the camera was moving?
Yeah, whole time
it was flowing.
Yeah, it was
a lot of low angle shots, like, you know, looking up at them.
Yeah, a lot of the cuts were fun too and thought out and like sound effecty. That little buzz to the spinner thing was just my favorite cut in the movie. I can't even remember what the first one was. It was like something started humming and then it cut to that guy spinning that thing like.
Yeah, I loved it. I really liked the movie.
Yep, acting was on point.
Really good movie.
Great performances by everybody. I was never looking at one person like, oh man, they're in this movie. Everybody killed it.
That's what I'm saying. There were not a lot of characters.
That was better though.
There were, but it was
but it was like those were the main two and everybody else was a part of a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amazing. I love it. There are a lot of good-looking people.
Yes. But they weren't even all like generically good-looking. Everybody kind of had their like
authentic, very culturally beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, like the people who represented the Arabs. They were.
And it was hella diverse when I think about that. Like, we literally saw
was very diverse.
Arab women, we saw black women, we saw the white girls, we saw everything.
And different body images too, like different preferences.
My guy said, I like them big.
Yeah, and it's just like, some people do.
The more flesh, the more something.
And that was, it was just
he's
beautiful.
Just a baby.
And it was just, I liked it. I liked how they did that. In a very uncheesy, like not not in the traditional way
Yeah,
of,
it
you
was
know,
not
the
corny. 'Cause
propaganda
at first I'm like,
way
oh, this
of,
is
like,
literally just Aladdin,
like, you
but
know?
it wasn't that.
Nah.
It all the way wasn't that, and I'm like, this is gonna be just like some Disney shit, and they totally went the other way with it.
It was
great.
beautiful. I loved it. I loved it.
Rate it. Out of 10.
Out of 10? I would. That's hard. I can't rate it.
You have to.
9.
I was gonna say 9 too. So it's a 9.
Yeah, 9.
It's a 9. That was close. I mean, I almost want to get out of 10 if I'm being real. That hit for me.
Maybe it's only the edit part that threw me off. And I'm like, dude, this is like a
I'm gonna give it the 10.
$10 billion fucking movie. You could have done better with that fucking cut. It was a terrible cut. It was a very, very terrible, weird cut at the beginning of the movie. And I'm like, dude, why did they do that? Like right off,
Maybe
I was
they
like,
just wanted to
what?
lean into the
I'm gonna show you.
juxtaposition
I'm gonna show you.
of-
Like while I was sitting there, I thought about million ways that it could be shot, and it would look way better, especially with their camera movement and how they're like dollying back.
They had
and
that good flow, yeah, for sure.
The camera had wings. It was jumping up the window
Literally,
and
it
fucking
was like,
going with
yes,
the.
that was when it
It's
was him and like
beautiful.
embodied, and it was doing that first person as him when he was like a ghost form.
Yep.
Those were awesome shots, and he's like just
Beautiful.
moving through, like looking for or like when the people were being drawn to him,
Yeah.
and it had that weird like fisheye vibe.
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
was,
amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it, but yeah, I would give it 9 just because of that cut. If to be completely honest.
dang, that's wild. Well, I'm gonna give it the 9.5. All right, we'll give it the 9. We'll give it the 9. It was solid. It was solid though. Like it was 10 worthy to me.
Yeah, the story,
It was 10
dialogue,
worthy.
everything.
Maybe I do give it a 10. I don't know. I'm caught in the middle now because that
Okay.
shit was fire. I don't see movies that I really do feel like they move me or they really say something.
Oh no,
Movies
no.
just seem so generic these days, but that felt like a story.
Come
It
on,
felt like
what-
I read a book.
What else? Yeah, what else did they say that was very remarkable? I remember like there were
A
points
couple
where I
of
was like,
quotes, yeah,
oh,
but the whole story as a whole.
The whole
Because
movie.
the Jinn was
I was
dropping
like,
gems.
oh my God,
He had
yeah.
all the quotes, all the things that
He
you
said
wanted
some
to hear.
Deep
Yeah.
shit, like seriously. And when he was talking about loving somebody entirely, he was like, that's the moment she asked him to love her. He was like, and there was a big pause, and I loved that when he looked outside the window, and there was a big, long pause, a pause between like the last thing that he said was like, I don't think it's right to love. Imagine loving somebody entirely, you know, like when he was talking about, I think.
He
I
was
don't know
talking
which
about the
one.
mistake he made, I thought, with the one girl. Is that part or wasn't that part?
I don't know, but there was a part of one of the girls that he fell in love with. He was
Yeah,
like,
who forgot him, like wish she had
yeah,
never met him.
yeah. And he was like, imagine falling in love with somebody entirely. And it was like, just like small stuff. And it sounded like, I think if it was put in another context, it would be so cheesy. Does it make sense?
But
like
it
even
was-
the beauty
yeah.
part when
But
he was
you
like,
felt the
she was-
heart. You felt like the pain of the moment.
Amazing.
Before he said a hard body quote, you felt his pain already. From him getting just like disrespected somehow. Like it was almost a tragedy for him.
Yes,
In like a
because
whole
we
lot
all
of cases.
got him. We all been there on some level.
Yeah.
We got forgotten at some
Yeah,
point. You're like,
yeah.
how did I love you to that point and you didn't even see me? You know what I'm
Yup.
saying? And
Yup.
it was just pretty. It was just poetic. It was very,
poetic.
very, 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 very beautiful. Like very beautiful.
Is that a book or something? Or like
I
it
don't
just
know.
felt so well written, like it was a book.
I think I remember telling you. I was just thinking about a 1,000 year of solitude. No,
You said what?
solitude.
500 years a
Remember?
slave? That
No,
one?
1,000 year of solitude. I think. No, hold on. A really good book
What it was? It was like I don't know.
for here you go.
I'm gonna give it the 10 so
For
we can round it to the 9.5.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez. That's a really, really
What is this?
well-known book. 1,000 Year of Solitude.
Is it that? Nah, it's a whole different thing. But yeah, that was solid. I like the
No.
movie.
Uh,
Props all the way around. I don't know who directed it, but I like it. I don't know who produced it, I like it. I don't know who did sound design. I don't know who shot that. I don't know none of that, but I like
the sound is amazing. The composing was.
it. And the graphics were
Is
very
it
minimalist, but it was
based
beautiful. Like he would
on
burn like
the
this
book?
fire energy, and I thought that was really cool. Like, I don't even know what that was. It was like some electric fire or something they were trying to do, but I like their particle effects.
3,000 Year of Longing, from the novella-length story and English novelist A.S. Byatt's short story collection, The Jinn in the Nightingale's Eye. Both the source text and the script are heavily influenced by 1001 Nights.
Oh, so it's like based on a book, on a book, on a book,
Yeah,
on a story, on a
it's
story,
a-
on a
it's a
story, on a
short
this, on a that,
story,
on
I
the
think. It's a show, yeah. But
Very
it's,
meta.
It's called The Jinn in the Nightingale's Eyes. The Nightingale's
Jinn and the Nightingales.
Yeah, amazing. I loved it. What's the score on, do you know?
Rotten Tomatoes and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably low.
Really?
I don't know.
Nah.
It's probably like, they probably gave it the traditional moviegoers probably gave it like 70%. Because didn't stick to the formula enough for them.
It's 3,000 Years of Longing, right?
Yeah, what does it say? They probably rated it low. Rotten Tomatoes says 70.
71.
71.
Wow.
See, they don't know.
Really?
They don't know nothing about no movies.
Let's see what they say.
These boys don't know nothing about no movies.
They say,
That's why you gotta come to hindsight for them real
although its story isn't as impressive as its visual marvels, though the visual marvels
We're
weren't
secondary
really
to the
that,
story.
Like,
Yeah, come
it's
on.
not really. It's hard not to admire 3,000 Years of Longing, sheer ambition. Okay, yeah, it's. I know what they're saying.
I do too, but I think they did.
They're stretching,
They
but
managed
it's
to
not.
deliver.
It's not for
yeah.
everybody. It's
But
not for everybody.
They managed to deliver on a lot of those things. I didn't think it was ambitious, but I think they did deliver on a lot of that.
Okay. At the heart of this romantically grand champer piece is a passionate declaration and as well as sincere defense of an innate human desire for fantasy. Yeah,
Solid. I like
there's
that.
something rather sterile and bloodless in the film's approach, with its synthetic and soul-sappingly clean-looking CGI. Plus, there's something very different and succeeding so spectacular. 3,000 Years of Longing stand in defiance of all of Fury Road's saggest lessons. The film sags where it should speed. It mumbles when it should pronounce. Dude, that's why we live in an era where I think, in eras when it should expand. Dude, it's not. I don't think.
Sound like haters to me.
It's no blockbuster. It wasn't designed that way. Exactly. It's not a blockbuster. It's not. That's what I was saying. It's not for everybody. It wasn't designed that way, but it's audacious, perfect, funny, and consistently inventive with a lot of charm.
Solid, yeah.
Yeah, I totally 100%
Second
agree. On paper, Miller's films sound more than little out there, but there is something pleasing and more than a little satisfying about a film which completely commits to its narrative without added airs and grasses.
God, yeah, for sure.
George Miller has crafted an enthralling collection of tales and a poignant love story. Yeah, the film, which offers an idealistic, sometimes hawky treatise on the power and necessity of myths and storytelling, is barely saved by its striking imagery and pair of exquisite performances from two of the great performers in movie today. How nice is this thing, really? It's the most cringeworthy film I've seen in ages, loaded up with absolute cliches. I told you, some of them sound very cliche, but I feel like they fit right in there. Does it make sense? Like, it's about fantasy. You know, like it is about being a little bit cheesy and being a little bit like, hey, I don't want really.
No, that
I don't want to use
doesn't
logic.
have to
You know,
mean
like she
cheese.
could have went to the doctor and fucking got her. You know, she didn't want to do that. She wanted to believe in something more. Like there is a friend on the other side. You know.
I feel it, but she was
is-
wild. She was wild and out there, though. She was definitely wild and out there. She could have been, in my mind, it was like she was writing stories and she was getting very involved in it, and it could have been like she was actually a little bit wild and she made those characters up, had them closed, did all that, but I couldn't tell. I just couldn't tell, because she had the box for her other imaginary friend too. Remember that?
And her thingy too, her husband. She put the photo thing in the box and she closed it. because that's how you move on.
Oh, wow. I didn't even really notice that.
Yeah, like it's all.
Maybe her husband wasn't even real then.
Maybe.
That's just crazy.
Because she was
Yeah,
seeing him
yeah.
at the end. Remember,
That
he
was
was
what
roller
was
skating
crazy.
with his whoever. I think that was him. But again, yeah, like you don't know. It's about fantasy, about why we have imaginary friends in childhood and adulthood too. You know,
To deal with the traumas.
it's the solitude, it's the longing. We all want to be part of something. We're social animals. At the core of it, we want to belong. We want to be part of something that is more than just us. Even if you're like her, you know, like she's very in her own bubble.
You know, I feel like she was like all of us, though, a little bit. You know, you heard it here first, guys. Go and join the community and be a part of something. You know you want to do it. Don't just sit at home and listen to Hindsight. Well, actually, do stay at home and listen to Hindsight and subscribe on all social media platforms. But after that, go outside and then show your friends Hindsight. But make sure that you're being social.
Preach.
You know what I mean? Get out there and see your friends.
Yes.
And we out.